Before we move on to the next one, I decided to do a quick demo. So what I've done is building production version, and then I brought up to my browser here. Let's briefly test if everything is good, and then at the same time, just a quick demo to show what we have achieved so far, right? So here we can create the short URL using long URL. Alternatively, you can just quick research, right? TinyURL, and then just copy the long URL and then paste to this input, and then click shorten URL, right? And then with the button right here, you can visit page, right? And then at the same time, we can copy the link and then paste it here too, right? So everything is working beautiful. At the same time, you should be able to see my URLs section that shows all the list of URL that I generated. You can do exactly the same as what we have done in the home page, but at the same time, you can delete the URL, right? And then another thing is you can clear up all the history, right? So it's just a deleting bunch of stuff. So as an example, let's create another short URL. Go to my URLs. So here you can clear out the history, everything together, right? So which is good. And then let's test another thing, which is seeing the number of clicks increasing, right? So let's visit external page, and then let's refresh. Yeah, the number of clicks has gone up, and then we can copy and then paste, and then we can see exactly the same page, but at the same time, once you refresh it, you should be able to see 2 clicks now, right? So which is awesome. Another thing that I want to try is after creating and then visit the page, right? At the same time, copy the URL and then visit the page, and then see if my clicks will be increasing here, right? So let's refresh it quickly. So every visit through this short URL will be increasing the number of clicks, right? So that's what we have achieved so far. So now I think it's a good time to think about adding authentication feature. Okay, so let's get started. For the user authentication, let me shut down things that we don't need. I decided to use Clerk, as I mentioned on my first video. So Clerk is pretty good application that we can use. This one is to do the user management at the same time authentication. Okay, so you can start for free, and then it's gonna redirecting you to the Next.js quick start app router. So in this page, you are gonna install the Clerk Next.js, and then adding the middleware, and then add the Clerk provider, and then create your first user. So in this page itself, you're gonna learn a lot, right? You don't need to know inside out. This one is already good enough to get started. So here you have npm create next latest, right? So in this case, you're installing the Next.js app, which we have done already, right? So we built this much using Next.js. And the next thing is installing the Clerk Next.js. So let's install that. I'm gonna shut down the production version because we can start to do dev mode now, right? So I'll be installing the Clerk right here. Something is happening. That is because we need to add legacy peer dependency flag afterwards, right? So somewhat I need to resolve this issue, but let's not worry too much. And then once you have done, you're gonna add the Clerk middleware here, okay? Nothing special. You just need to create the middleware.ts file, as you have seen here, but you must install, create it in the root directory, right? So, and then click that. Inside of middleware, you just needed to copy paste the whole thing, nothing else. Okay, so done. Great. And then let's move to the next part, which is adding Clerk provider here. Okay, so what you need to do is adding Clerk provider inside of the layout file. Okay, so let's go to layout file, and then you just need to copy paste. That's the only thing you need to do. Okay, so outside of the HTML, and then you're gonna have a closing tag, and then wrap everything including HTML tag, right? So, and then here you need to have certain buttons here, but my plan is not having it here. Okay, so these guys are sign in button, and then sign up button, and then user button that shows profile and little avatar. So that's what you can do. Let's import it. So you can import from here, from line number 2 to 9, just to put it up there, and then just save it. Then you're gonna have a Clerk provider only, right? So which is good. So once you have done, you're just ready to run everything. Okay, so let's give it a shot. So now I'll be I'll be running the application just by refreshing, just in case. And then my application is already running, so I'm just refreshing it. Oh, it says missing public shadow key and get your key, blah 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 blah, right? So I think we're not passing enough information, right? Yeah, something is off. Maybe we can reopen up. Sorry, my bad. So it's working good. So it says Clerk is in keyless mode, right? Now I'm gonna claim application here. So you can either claim new application or you can use the existing one, right? But in this case, I'm gonna create TinyURL application, right? And then claim application here. So then it's gonna give you the key, okay? And then secret key here. I'm not gonna reveal it, but you can copy it in the .env.local. You can just quickly paste it. Then you can resume development here. Okay, so resume development. So now claim is completed. So what it means, this one is working just fine now, right? So everything is good. Now we need to build a mechanism user can log in here. So let me just open up. So in the TinyURL, you should see the buttons right here to sign in and then sign up, right? So I'm gonna mimic very similar as possible. In my case, I'm gonna add button at the down below here too. So to do that, you're gonna go to the navigation. Yeah, in the navigation, oh sorry, I think not navigation, the mobile menu here. So you have a navigation down here, right? So in the sheet content, I'll be having sheet footer, okay? Sheet footer, and then just for the testing purpose, hi, then you should see the buttons you should see the new element down here, right? So with this, I'll be copying those buttons now, okay? Copy and paste all. Awesome. So then you should be able to see buttons right here, okay? So these buttons are not customized. Oh, look at that. It's already working. These are not customized, right? So these guys are default buttons, but you can also customize it, okay? So how you can customize is here. So you can create your own button here. How? You just needed to pass the children between opening and closing tag. That's all you needed to do, okay? So here I'm gonna have a button which is coming from ShadCN, and then I'm gonna say sign in, since this one is a sign in button. Oh, take a look at it. And then sign up, I'm gonna do exactly the same. Sign up, and then I'm gonna have button, and then sign up. Okay, so looking pretty good, but create account, I'll be making it as secondary button. Okay, so here variant, and then we're gonna give that to secondary. That's everything you need to do actually. So then you're gonna see like this. Okay, you can swap the order if you like to be a little bit more accurate, right? But good part is most of things are taken care by Clerk. Okay, so here you're gonna click sign in my case, and then it's gonna redirect you to this custom page, right? That is provided by Clerk. You don't need to build anything. You can just sign in with the Google account. Then once you have signed in, then you should see this icon right here. Maybe I can put this user button to header. So the header, where I want to put it is here. So let's go to header. And then inside, right after the mobile menu, maybe I'm gonna have user avatar right next to it. So let's try it out. Then as you can see the avatar right next to it, right? And then at the same time, we can style a little bit, right? So class name, class name, and then space, maybe X to 2. Awesome. So then we allow user to authenticate it, right? So we can log out if we want to. We can sign in. Awesome. Then user should be able to see this. I think this is good in my opinion. So I think looking good. Then we can now try to personalize the data. So in our case, what we're doing is we can see any URL that generated. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna have a personalized list of items based on the authenticated user. Okay, so here I'm gonna do quick search and the finding user ID. But when we are getting the URLs, I'll be getting the URLs based on user ID that I have authenticated with. So in this case, I'm gonna have user ID somewhere. Where we can get it is, I believe, auth from Clerk Next.js to server. Then you should be able to get the user ID. So if you auto suggest, then user ID is coming from here. Then I can use this user ID instead of hard-coded, which is number 1. Okay. In this case, we have a little bit of issue because when user is not authenticated, then we should not show this guy, right? So for now, I'm gonna do if user ID does not exist, then I should not do the rest, right? So I'll be just redirecting user to just a home page, right? So here, redirect to just a home page, okay? So, which is good. So now let's try it out, right? So once I sign out, and then when I'm not authenticated, if I try to go to my URLs, it's just redirecting to home page, right? So that is what is happening. So we are not allowing user to go to my URLs page anymore, which is awesome. And then another thing that we want to do is we needed to create the rec URL with the user ID that user is authenticated, right? So we can do exactly the same as what we have done the other part. I'm gonna just copy that, okay? And then in the action, we can do the same. So here, user ID. So in this case, if user does not exist, then we need to show the error, right? So here, when I'm gonna return as well, or I can throw the error, right? Because we're gonna catch the error in the catch block here. So what I would do is throw new error. Oh, sorry. Please sign in order to generate the shortened the URL. So which is good. A lot of things happening. So now let's just try it out, right? So when we click, sorry, not my URL, shorten another. So let's just try to generate it. But it says, oh, throw new error. Please sign in order to blah, 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 blah. Interesting. We are throwing the, oh, I see. We are not in the try block, right? So let's just wrap everything. So try one more time. It's fine because user ID is probably existing. Let me try one more time, or let's debug. So I'm gonna put a breakpoint to here, and then let's try again. I think we need to handle some edge case, I think. So we should say yes. Okay, interesting. So let's debug here. So what I would do is, oh, sorry. Where we are calling this create URL, let's go over there. So here, if we have error, we shouldn't shorten the URL to true, I guess. All right. So in this case, let's refactor a little bit. So this is what I'm going to do, okay? So let's try that. So I'm gonna have use effect, and then I'm gonna have a dependency. In the dependency, if short or error changes, I'll be changing it here, okay? So if a short, let me try that. This one, I think we can just do that here. So if the error does not exist and short is existing, then we're gonna set is shortened. Okay, so let's give it a shot. Okay, we just needed to check if everything is good, but I believe this will do the job. But let me just quickly check. So here, shorten another. Let's go. So now it doesn't allow user to go to shorten the URL page, right? So, and then at the same time, we need to have the error message need to be updated too, right? So the error message needed to be updated. I'm gonna say error. I'll be so in this error, let's just do this. So there's somewhat we need to figure it out if it's a server error or anything. But for now, to make our job a little bit easier, I'm gonna just render error the message. Okay, I just want to move a little bit quicker, but of course we need to handle much more. Okay, so here, let's do that. So now let's try to shorten again. Please just sign in order to generate the shortened URL, right? So, which is good. I think this one is good, in my opinion. Alternatively, you can show like a toaster or anything that can inform user better, right? I like it. So then, once the user gets authenticated, sign in. Let's just sign in. And then we should be able to generate that. So here, read the session data, right? So let's take a look. It's gonna stop right here. Awesome. It's generated because we have authenticated. And then we can visit the URL, right? Awesome. And then we can go to my URL to see if it gets generated. But look like it's not. Oh, I see. I found the bug here because we are generating with the user ID 1, which is wrong. We need to create the data with the user ID who is authenticated, right? So let me try one more time. And let's remove it because we know it's working. My URLs. Wow. Amazing. So let's try to get authenticated with a different user now. There we go. And then let's just sign in with a different user. Maybe let's go with this guy. Awesome. So now when we check the URLs, it is empty, right? So let's generate one with the Next.js documentation. Awesome. And then when it see the my URL, then it has a Next.js documentation. So let's visit quickly. Awesome. So now to confirm, let's authenticate it with another user that we have generated URL with, which is this account. Awesome. This time is a century, right? So, which is good. So now everything is looking good, right? So I'm gonna make a quick commit and then finish this recording, okay? Git add, git commit. Implement authentication for TinyURL clone. So I've decided to deploy this using Vercel here. So you should be able to sign up and then you can create your own project. I'm gonna show you how I can make it available online. So now I'm gonna click the add a new button right here, click project. And then I'll be selecting tiny clone repository here, which that I just created, okay? So I'm gonna import from my repository. I have many different organizations, but I'll be using my own personal GitHub. So now I'm importing this, and then there will be a couple of things we need to go through, right? Make sure you select the Next.js, and then your root directory. In my case, yes, my application is only having Next.js, so root directory is correct, and then build output settings, right? So I think to prevent like potential issues, I'll be having install command to npm install, and then legacy. I forgot. Let me just check. npm I. The legacy peer dapps here, right? So legacy peer dapps. So this one must be there, right? And then another thing that I want to do is build a command for the Prisma issue. I'm gonna do next build, and I'll be doing Prisma generate right after. So I'll be running those two and then see how things is gonna work. And then for the environment variable, I need to have everything in my env file. So in this case, I'll be just copy, paste the whole thing. But this base URL needed to be updated because I need to get new base URL once it's deployed, right? But I'm not gonna worry about it right now. And then this database URL also needed to be changed, right? Because this my local Postgres is not available in the cloud, right? So I need to update those two, but I'll be leaving it here. So just to mark it as test and then test for now, okay? So that's what I would do first, and then I'll be deploying it, okay? Of course, it's gonna fail, right? But we're gonna get through that. So I need to get two things done while it's processing. So one thing is setting up my database, okay? So let's go to my database. So you click storage right here, and then you're gonna create new database using Neon, okay? Neon has a Postgres already, and then this one is pretty good in my opinion. So here you're gonna choose some hosting areas. I'll be choosing somewhere in the US on the west. So this one is what I will be choosing. And then I will definitely use a free version. Minimum projects 10 and then that, right? So which is awesome. And then I'm gonna continue. And the database name is tiny clone here, like that. TinyURL clone. And then I think it's good. So once you create the database, right, you can get your database URL right here. So with that, I'll be copy paste this one, okay? Awesome. Or you can just copy the whole thing and then put it into the environment variables. That's totally fine too. Here, but only thing that I need is database URL. So I'll be just copy this much, okay? Awesome, which is done. And then at the same time, I need to go to overview, and then tiny clone we just generated, and then go to settings, okay? Once you go to settings, you should be able to add or edit the environment variables. So this one, I need to change it, right? So I'm gonna edit it to this guy, which is awesome. And then another thing that I need to change is the base URL, right? The base URL, you should be able to get it from here, okay? So you just go here and then copy, okay? So copy and then paste it to here, right here. Awesome. So then everything is good. Then I have all the environment variable ready. So now, sorry, my bad. So here, tiny clone, I need to migrate the database, right? So what I would do is, I know this is not the best practice, but for solving the problem, I'll be changing this guy. I'm gonna comment this guy, okay? This one is my local database. This one is a production version of it, okay? So let's move quick. I'm gonna do npx prisma migrate deploy, okay? So this way, this migration is done in my production database. So now, here, let's try to redeploy. I believe this one will solve the problem. Hopefully, let's cross the finger, right? If not, we can fix it. Come on. Okay, so now it's time to build. The dependency installation is done, which is good. Creating optimize the production build, which is good. Oh, compiled successfully. But I am having the issue. So Prisma client initialization error. Prisma has detected that project was built on Vercel, which caches dependency that leads to an outdated Prisma client because Prisma auto generation isn't triggered. To fix this, to make sure to run Prisma generate. Oh, I think I kind of know what is happening. Hopefully this will solve the problem. So what I did is Prisma generate first and then next build. So hopefully this will solve the problem. So it says generated Prisma client, so which is awesome. Yeah, it's retrying, I don't know why. Okay, so compiled successfully. Linting and then checking. Warning, react to huge effect. Okay, so this one I'm not gonna worry too much because it's a warning. Oh, building the page now. Finally. Good job. So hopefully everything is working good. If not, I'm gonna figure it out. So now it's good. Let's quickly test it if everything is good. So here I cannot see my URL page, but I should be able to authenticate. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, I was able to sign in, and then I should have my URL page, but with nothing. So let's create one, shorten the URL, and then let's go to here. So TinyURL clone to parcel.app that. So I think it's working beautiful. I'm gonna end the session now. Thank you for watching this video. It was a pleasure working on this project. Thank you. Bye now.